Maybe nothing in your love life looks different yet. There is no new man, no unexpected message, no story you can point to and say, "This is finally it." And because nothing around you has changed, you may assume nothing is happening. But sometimes the first sign that God is preparing you for a different kind of love is not that a man appears. It is that the old kind of love starts losing its power over you. You begin wanting different things. You tolerate less confusion. You stop calling anxiety chemistry, and little by little, you become a woman who would enter love very differently than she did before. This is not a 7-step countdown to marriage, but sometimes you only recognize the preparation later. You look back and realize God had been changing things in you long before you ever met Him. So if some of these 7 things are happening in your life right now, do not assume this quiet season is empty. The first change may show up in something surprisingly simple. What attracts you? There was a time when intensity felt exciting. A man could be inconsistent, emotionally unavailable, difficult to understand, and somehow the uncertainty made the connection feel even stronger. You would spend hours thinking about one conversation. One message could change your entire mood. If he pulled away, you wanted him more. If he came back, the relief felt almost like love. But then something changes. You meet the same kind of man, and instead of feeling butterflies, you feel tired. He may still be charming. The chemistry may still be there. But now you notice things you once rushed past. Does he follow through? Does his faith exist outside of what he says on a date? Can he have a difficult conversation without disappearing? What once felt mysterious starts feeling exhausting, and you may wonder what happened to you. Your appetite may be changing. Romans chapter 12 speaks about being transformed by the renewing of your mind. That transformation can reach even into what you have learned to desire. Sometimes God prepares you for healthy love by making unhealthy love less impressive. Attraction still matters. You are not becoming suspicious of every man or pretending chemistry means nothing. It just stops being enough. You begin wanting peace, character, consistency, and safety. You want a man whose presence does not require you to spend the next 3 days trying to figure out what his last sentence meant. And that shift matters. Because there may have been a version of you who would have overlooked a peaceful man simply because he did not create enough anxiety to feel exciting. Now peace is beginning to look different, maybe even beautiful. Then another change happens. Being chosen stops feeling like the answer to everything. You still want marriage. You still desire companionship. There may still be nights when you wish someone were beside you, or moments when another engagement announcement touches a place in you that you wish did not hurt. Wanting love does not disappear, but the desperation begins to. There is a difference. You stop looking at every new man and immediately wondering whether he could be your husband. You become less willing to shrink yourself, overgive, or become easier to love just to keep someone interested. Maybe before, when a man pulled away, your first question was, "What did I do wrong?" Now another question appears. Is this even the kind of relationship I want? That is growth. Because when your identity is starving, almost any attention can feel like food. But as God grounds you more deeply in who you are, you stop asking a relationship to answer questions it was never created to answer. A husband can love you deeply, but he was never meant to become the source of your worth. Psalm 139 describes a God who knows you completely. Your value did not begin the day a man noticed you, and it will not increase because someone puts a ring on your hand. There is something powerful about reaching a place where you can say, I want love, but I no longer need to betray myself to receive it. That woman enters a relationship differently. She can love deeply without disappearing just to keep the relationship. And if God is teaching you that now, the waiting is not empty. Then He may begin showing you things about your past that you could not see while you were living through them. This part is not always comfortable. You begin understanding why emotionally unavailable men felt familiar. Why you stayed even after your peace was gone. Why a small amount of affection could keep you attached through a large amount of confusion. Sometimes the realization comes in a very ordinary moment. You are driving home. An old relationship crosses your mind. And for the first time, instead of asking why he treated you that way, you ask, why did I work so hard to convince myself that it was enough? That question can hurt, but it can also set you free. God does not expose patterns to humiliate you. He brings things into the light so you do not keep calling familiar pain, chemistry. Proverbs tells us to guard the heart because so much of life flows from it. Guarding your heart does not mean building a wall around it. Sometimes it means finally asking why your heart keeps returning to the same kind of person. Maybe you learned somewhere that love had to be earned, or inconsistency became so familiar that peace now feels strange. Some women become so skilled at understanding everyone else's wounds that they stop asking what those wounds are doing to them. And when God begins showing you these things, you may feel as though you are going backward. You thought you were ready. Why are old memories coming back now? Why are you seeing patterns you wish you had noticed years ago? Because seeing the pattern is part of becoming ready. You cannot choose differently while everything still looks the same to you. Sometimes preparation for the right relationship begins with finally understanding why the wrong ones had so much access to your heart. Then there is a quieter change. You begin learning how to live when nothing romantic is happening. This may be one of the hardest parts. It is easier to feel hopeful when something new is beginning. There is a person to think about, a conversation to replay, something to pray over. Waiting gives your mind a different kind of space. At night, the house gets quiet. You put down your phone, and the questions you avoided during the day start getting louder. What if it never happens? What if everyone else moves forward and I stay here? What if God has something for other women that He does not have for me? Those moments reveal how much your peace has depended on evidence that something is about to change. And slowly, God begins teaching you another way to live. Psalm 46 says, "Be still and know that I am God." Stillness is not always peaceful at first. Sometimes being still means not going back to someone you already know is wrong just because you are lonely tonight. It means not downloading the app again at midnight because panic convinced you that you are running out of time. It means refusing to interpret one quiet season as proof that God has forgotten your story. You begin learning to be present in the life you have, even while asking God for something you still desire. And eventually, the waiting stops feeling like a hallway where you sit until your real life begins. You make plans again. You deepen friendships. You laugh without immediately noticing the empty seat beside you. You discover parts of yourself that had been buried underneath constant romantic anxiety. Marriage may add something beautiful to your life, but your life is not on pause until it arrives. If waiting has been the hardest part for you, especially when everything gets quiet and your heart starts wondering whether God has forgotten you, I created the Still Point, a 30-day devotional for the woman who is waiting. Each day is designed to help you stay grounded in seasons like this, so your peace does not have to depend on whether anything in your love life has changed yet. You can find the still point in the pinned comment or the first link in the description. And there is another change that often begins when you have spent enough time becoming still. Your discernment gets sharper. Not because you have become cynical, you are simply no longer so hungry for an outcome that you need every connection to become one. A man can tell you he loves God and wants something serious. You do not have to distrust him. You simply give his life enough time to show whether his actions can carry what his words promised. If he says he has changed, you do not have to interrogate him. You let time reveal it. Hebrews chapter 5 speaks about discernment being trained through practice. That matters because discernment is not always a dramatic warning or a supernatural feeling. Sometimes it looks very ordinary. You notice. You ask questions. You stop rushing to fill missing information with hope. And there may have been a time when your prayer sounded like this: God, please, let him be the one. Now it sounds different. God, let me see this clearly, even if the answer is not what I want. That is a powerful prayer, because a woman who only wants confirmation can miss truth. A woman who wants truth more than a particular outcome is much harder to manipulate. And that discernment matters when healthy love appears too. Sometimes safety feels unfamiliar at first. Consistency may feel less intoxicating than the uncertainty you once called chemistry. You may even mistake calm for a lack of connection because your nervous system became so used to chasing. Discernment helps you stay long enough to discover the difference between boring and peaceful. And then your imagination begins changing too. It stops running so far ahead of reality. One good date is allowed to be one good date. One deep conversation does not have to become a wedding in your mind. A man mentioning that he wants children does not immediately turn into you picturing what your children with him would look like. You are not cold or guarded. You are simply present. You let a person reveal himself over time, because sometimes a relationship ends and you discover that you are grieving years that never actually happened. The house, the Christmas mornings, the children, the prayers together. You were not only attached to a man, your heart had already begun living inside a future that existed mostly in your imagination. And losing that future can hurt almost as much as losing the relationship itself. But as God matures you, hope becomes less frantic. You can enjoy possibility without demanding certainty from it. You can allow a relationship to grow at the speed of truth. James tells believers to ask God for wisdom, and wisdom gives reality enough time to speak. Then, somewhere along the way, your standards start becoming quieter. Earlier in life, you may have had a very specific picture of how the man, the chemistry, and even the story were supposed to look. You can still have preferences, but other questions begin to matter more. Can he tell the truth when truth costs him something? Can you bring him a concern without spending 2 days preparing the perfect way to say it? Does his faith produce humility or only religious language? Those questions may not sound as exciting, but they build a life. You begin understanding that the husband you need is not simply the man who creates the strongest feeling on the first date. He is the man whose character can still be trusted after the feelings settle into ordinary life. 1 Corinthians chapter 13 describes love with words like patient, kind, and not self-seeking. Those words sound simple until you try to build decades on them. Healthy love is often made of things that look almost boring from the outside. Someone follows through. Someone tells the truth. Someone stays in the room when the conversation gets uncomfortable. Someone knows how to repent. And when those things begin looking more attractive to you than emotional chaos, something important has changed. Finally, God may begin making room in you for a different kind of love. And preparation is not only God teaching you what to reject, it can also mean increasing your capacity to receive something healthier. Some women know how to survive difficult relationships better than they know how to receive safe ones. Chaos, chasing, and proving yourself can become strangely familiar. So imagine meeting a man who communicates clearly. Imagine telling him that something hurt you and watching him listen instead of disappear. Imagine being loved without spending every week wondering whether the love is still there. That can require healing too, because when you have lived around instability for long enough, peace can make you nervous. You may wait for the other shoe to drop. A normal, quiet afternoon can make you wonder whether something is wrong. You may find yourself looking for signs that the good thing is about to disappear simply because that is what happened before, and God can meet you there too. He can teach you how to receive love without constantly checking whether you are about to lose it, how to remain yourself while allowing another person to become deeply important to you. The goal is not to become so independent that you no longer need anyone. Marriage is partnership. Vulnerability matters. Healthy dependence on one another is part of intimacy. But you should not have to disappear in order to become a wife. And perhaps one of the most beautiful ways God prepares you is not simply by helping you identify the right man. It is by preparing you to receive healthy love when it arrives. Maybe nothing visible has changed yet, but you have. What once attracted you no longer has the same hold on you. Being chosen is no longer the center of your identity. Your eyes are clearer than they used to be, and that matters. You may look around and say, but nothing has happened yet. Maybe nothing visible has. There may still be an empty seat beside you. There may still be no man whose name you can put into this story. But do not confuse "I cannot see it yet" with "God is doing nothing." The woman who could one day enter a healthy marriage may be being formed right now. And when love comes, you may understand why certain things needed to change first. You may meet a man the old version of you would have called too calm. There is no chasing, no guessing, no emotional roller coaster. And one day you realize that what once would have felt boring now feels safe. Not because you lowered your standards, because your understanding of love changed. I cannot promise you a date. I cannot tell you that because these 7 things are happening, your husband is definitely around the corner. Scripture does not give us that formula. But I can tell you that becoming healthier, wiser, steadier, and more deeply rooted in God is never wasted preparation. Whether the answer comes sooner than you expect or the waiting continues longer than you hoped, this work still matters, because God is not only interested in getting you to a wedding day, He cares about the woman who will wake up the morning after it. The woman who will build an ordinary life with another person, have difficult conversations, need wisdom, and still need to know who she is when the honeymoon feeling becomes everyday life. So if this season feels quiet, do not despise it. Your waiting may not be empty. Some of the things God is doing now may only make sense when you look backward. And if that is what you want to believe today, write this in the comments. My waiting is not empty. God is preparing me. Before you go, Meeting the right person is one moment. Learning how to remain steady while you wait and how to recognize healthy love when it comes is the deeper work. The Still Point was created to help you practice that for 30 days with scripture, reflection, prayer, and space to write when the waiting becomes loud again. And if nights are when your thoughts wander the most, there is a complete audio version too, so you can close your eyes, listen, and let the day become quiet without facing that quiet alone. You can find the Still Point in the pinned comment or the first link in the description. Come walk those 30 days with me. You do not have to see the whole story yet, beloved. Let God continue the work He is doing in you. It matters, even before you can see what comes next.